Oh, YouTube, it's Peggy Hubbard, your girl here. And I'm going to try to adjust my lighting here and see if I can get a better lighting for you guys. Okay, that's good. I'm going to wait till we get a couple of people on here, and then we're going to get started. I got a couple of things that I want to share and say. And the next video is called The Cancel Culture Strikes Again. And I'm going to wait until we get a couple of more people on here. I believe that, hey, you doing, Don? How you doing? It's Peggy. I believe they're messing with my live feed yet again. So I'm going to wait a few minutes and then we're going to get started. I got 11 people. BC, I got Cami. How you doing from California? How you doing, Tammy? Hi, Chris. Hey, Sherry. It's Peggy. I'm on here again. I got a couple more people. Uh, so we're going to get started. As you all know, today they decided in the House to impeach President Trump. Now, this is not the first impeachment that we had to suffer through, rather. This is the second one. The first one took place the day after he was inaugurated on January 20th, and he was inaugurated. And the day after that, they started their impeachment process. Well, here it is, fast forward 4 years later. Now the House has decided that they're going to impeach President Trump when he has 6 days left in office. So it passed the House. We did have some Republicans that voted. One of those Republicans was from the state of Illinois. His name is Adam Kinzinger. He's from upstate Illinois, northern Illinois, right outside of Chicago. He's in the 16th district, and that's who he represents, the body of the 16th district of Illinois, which is upstate, which is Rockford and other places outside of Chicago proper. So he's in the 16th district, and he voted to impeach President Trump, and his name is Adam Kinzinger. So we're going to need to find someone very shortly in the mid election to take out this guy, because it's obvious he is not a Republican. He has been fighting President Trump ever since he had office. I got a chance to meet Adam Kinzinger when I was running for U.S. Senate against Dick Durbin. I lost my primary. But when I met him, I just felt this uneasy feeling about this guy, that this guy was a sleazebag. And usually my assumptions when I first meet somebody and I shake their hands, his hands were cold and clammy. So that should give you an indication what kind of character this person is. He has no loyalty to the party. He has no loyalty to who he represents, and he has no loyalty to the president of our party, which is President Trump. So Adam Kinzinger has got to go. So the reason why I'm on here today not only is about this impeachment situation, but it's something else you guys need to know. We are now in what we call a cancel, rather, let me get it right, a cancel culture, a cancel culture. And what do I mean by that is everything the left deems to um, be undermining to their party, God, pro-life, Second Amendment, First Amendment, anything that is pro-American gets the cancel culture experience. Today was a real shocker, and this is what happened. I don't know if you guys know who Curt Schilling is. A lot of you probably do. He's a baseball player, and he's a staunch Trump supporter. Well, Mr. Schilling actually got on social media, his first mistake, and he actually stood up for President Trump and the censoring of our president and being removed from social media. Well, Mr. Schilling made his point about how we are going down the rabbit hole to socialism and communism and silencing Americans, and we're not allowed to actually support our president. So I guess social media didn't like that. And apparently, AIG, Kurt Schilling's insurance provider, AIG, this is a major insurance provider, and this is where the cancel culture comes into play. Kurt Schilling actually stood up and spoke out about the censorship and how we were going down the wrong path as a country, that Americans should not be silenced. They should have the right to speak out, and we should have the right to support our president. Well, the cancel culture caught up to Mr. Schilling today. AIG, his medical coverage was canceled. Y'all didn't hear me. They went in and canceled his medical coverage with AIG. They stripped this man of his medical insurance for speaking out and standing up for not only President Trump, but also standing up for our constitutional rights to free speech. So they, in turn, took this man's insurance away from him. Y'all, we are in a very, very, very dangerous time right now. They are now demanding that we cannot fly on airplanes if we supported the president, if we took part in the march. We're not allowed to buy plane tickets on certain airlines. You're not allowed to sing the national anthem on airlines anymore. They removed a whole flight last week off of a plane for singing the national anthem at an American airport in an American plane. So you're not allowed to sing the national anthem. You're not allowed to have medical insurance if you support the president, if you support the Constitution, if you support free speech, if you support your Second Amendment rights. You're no longer allowed these things. Y'all, we are stepping closer and closer into socialism. I remember when the president gave his State of the Union address, and he said, we will never be a socialist country. We have now stepped into it. We are now being allowed to speak freely without repercussion and reprisals. We're being fired off our jobs for going to the march. We're getting our medical insurance canceled. We're getting removed from our apartments. The Democrats talk about us coming together in unity. There is nothing that they're doing that is unifying this country right now. There is nothing that they're doing. This impeachment just tears us further apart. If you want to unify this country, then stop going down this rabbit hole. Let that man leave office. And the reason why they want President Trump impeached, so he cannot run in 2024. In 3 years, President Trump will be able to run for president again. This impeachment is a way for them to stop him from running for office again. This is what Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats are doing. They're calling terrorists for standing up for democracy. Yes, there were people that were in Washington on January 6th that tore off and embarrassed our country and embarrassed our party. But I do wholeheartedly believe that it was an inside job, that these people were placed and embedded in our march to do this. There's just too many things that just don't add up to me. Too many things. Why was it that half the police force at the Capitol were not there. If they knew there were going to be a large march and it was going to be over 200,000 plus people there, you want every man and woman on deck as Capitol police officers, Secret Service. Bring in people from the FBI, DEA, ATF, all hands on deck. No, they had a skeleton crew at the nation's capital. Why? It's a setup. It was a setup. And I know I've been telling people to stop listening to these conspiracy theorists, but see, I saw it firsthand. They had a skeleton crew. And being a former law enforcement officer, let me tell you, there were more men and women in Ferguson than there was at that Capitol. There were more men and women at Ferguson. My husband was one of those. Thank God he's retired. He's retiring. Thank God. There were more men and women in Ferguson holding the line than it was at the Capitol that day. I noticed that. See, I'm trained to notice things like that as former law enforcement. There was a skeleton crew on duty. Why? Why was that? And this is not a conspiracy. This is something I saw with my own eyes. Why was there only a skeleton crew there at the Capitol? All hands on deck. Everybody you can possibly put on the line. That's what they should have done, but they didn't do that. So why is that? That's a question. Nobody's able to give me that answer. But getting back to what I'm saying, we are in a cancel culture. People are getting their health insurance like Mr. Schilling. AIG canceled his insurance. We're being told that we're not going to be allowed to be on airplanes anymore. That if you took part in any of these marches, then you cannot get on the airplane. You cannot sing the national anthem. If you do sing the national anthem, you will be deplaned. You would have to debark or unbark, whatever you want to call it. You'll have to get off the plane. While Black Lives Matter and Antifa right now are running amok, burning down cities, burning down towns, burning down small businesses. But see, they get carte blanche. They get to do whatever they want to do. And the Democrats don't say anything about what it is they're doing. They didn't say anything about them burning down Ferguson and St. Louis. They didn't say anything about my friend David Dorn, family friend, being killed by Black Lives Matter, and his death was live for his wife to see. They didn't say anything about that. They didn't call that outrage. But they turn around and they give George Floyd family a folded flag and call him an American hero. They didn't give David a folded flag and call him an American hero. And he was murdered by Black Lives Matter. Cancel culture is what it is. Now we're having our insurance taken away. We're not allowed to get on a plane. We're getting our eviction notices from landlords. We're getting fired for our jobs. Our free speech is being stifled. They're coming after our guns. And they tell us an impeachment is very important to heal this country. It is not healing this country. President Trump has the highest approval rating than any president ever to grace the Oval Office. A week before he's leaving office, he has never seen before in the history of the Oval Office the highest numbers. And then you have people like AOC telling people like Josh Hawley and Ted Cruz that they need to leave because they were following exactly what is prescribed in the Constitution. AOC, if you see this, baby, I sent you Schoolhouse Rock box set for a reason. You need to learn the Constitution. You need to find out and read what the Constitution actually says. This is prescribed in our Constitution. They are doing exactly what is ordered under our Constitution. They are supposed to question the legitimacy of this election and the validity of this election. That is their job as senators. But see, you can't grasp that. You didn't even know what a food processor does or a garbage disposal does. You had no clue. So if you don't even know what appliances do, I'm pretty sure you don't even know what the Constitution does and says. For somebody that has a college degree, you are really pretty stupid. But I digress. We are in the cancel culture movement right now. Anything that does not please the Democratic Party or the liberals on the left, they're going to cancel. Full-term births, canceled. Right to bear arms, canceled. Free speech, canceled. Medical choice, canceled. School choices, canceled. Love for one country, canceled. Singing the national anthem, canceled. But hey, we lift up drug dealers and murderers. I didn't see not one Democrat a GoFundMe or a fund to get these protesters out of jail. But they did it for Black Lives Matter and Antifa. They burned down whole cities. The day of the inauguration, when President Trump went into office, buildings burned, cars burned, looting took place at the nation's capital. Just last summer, D.C. burned, the Capitol burned. The city of D.C. was on fire last summer in June. I didn't see not one Democrat call out that incident. Not one called it out and said, this is a shame. We should not be doing this. No, Nancy Pelosi encouraged more unrest. AOC encouraged more unrest. Kamala Nepad Harris encouraged more unrest. Maxine Waters told people that they needed to get out of their cars and surround us and circle us at gas stations and restaurants and get up in our faces and say, we're not welcome. You're not welcome here. You need to get up in their faces. They said words have consequences, and they say this about our president. But didn't Maxine Waters tell people to get up in our faces and push back and tell them we're not welcome here, and you surround them? Why wasn't she impeached? Why wasn't she thrown out of Congress? Nancy Pelosi last summer said that there needs to be more unrest in the cities. We need to have more unrest. We need to do more of this. Why isn't she impeached as Speaker of the House? Why? Because you know why? The left can do what they want to do. It's a cancel culture. And this is very, very dangerous for our democracy. This is very, very dangerous for our country. Lord have mercy. You guys are very, very lucky right now that I am not sitting up there as your senator for Illinois. Because you know what? I would tear off and tell all these people they can go to hell. Because we watched for 5 years unrest in our streets. We watched for 5 years Ferguson burned, St. Louis burned, Kenosha burned, Minneapolis, Minnesota burned, Louisville burned, Seattle burned, Oregon, Portland burned. New York has a 500% crime rate right now. 500%. Now we have these banks that are canceling President Trump. Now we have New York's mayor, that dirtbag, that douchebag, calling for all his business dealings in New York and all his permits and all his licenses right now in New York to be pulled. Cancer in our midst. Cancer, culture, cancel culture. It's a cancer. This is socialism. How do you get to this point? You silence the people. You strip them of their weapons. You take away our churches. You close our small businesses. You tell us what we're going to pay in taxes, and we have no recourse. In Illinois right now, there was a House resolution bill that just passed that has stripped power from our police in the state of Illinois. The Democrats have stripped law enforcement in Illinois of their powers. We have no more bail. They totally took that out. Y'all didn't hear me. If you break the law in Illinois, you're not going to get bail. What you're going to get is a notice to appear. Then they strip the cops of their rights to bargain for a fair contract under their union. They're cutting their wages. They're cutting their state funding, and now they're going after their federal funding. And now that we have Joe Biden, and that's going to be taking office in a week, police as we know it and law enforcement as we know it is going to be done for. It's already happening here in Illinois. No bail. You don't have to worry about making bail. They're just going to give you a date to appear, and that's just going to be it. So as fast as these cops can put you in jail and write a report, you're going to be back out on the street. And you wonder why the gun sales in this country has tripled in 4 years. If we don't have the police to save us, the only thing we have left is our rights to bear arms. And now Kamala Harris just announced under her administration as vice president, she's going to fight to remove our arms and our rights to bear arms. In other words, she's going to try to circumvent the Second Amendment, and they're going to try to pack the Supreme Court to change our Second Amendment rights. And folks, let me tell you, they're coming for your guns. They already took God. We're not allowed to pray, to go to church. We are in some very, very dark days ahead and some dark years ahead. And I'm one of the people that Facebook has deemed to be dangerous. I'm one of the people that Facebook says that I am a heavy influencer, whatever that means. What it means is I make sense and I tell it to you the way it is and the way you need to hear it. We are in a cancel culture. In Washington, D.C., the city council has voted that they do not need your permission, and this is the city of D.C. They voted this last month. They no longer need your permission to inoculate and also vaccinate your children. They will do it without your permission. And they will bill your insurance company without your permission. If you refuse, you could get a knock at your door by DCFS. So they're taking away your parental rights to inoculate and vaccinate your child. You could have religious reasons, you can have a medical reason. To them, that's not a reason. They will do it and you have no recourse. That is what they're doing in our country. This is what the Democrats are doing to our country. They already said they're going to pull down the wall. They already said they were going to defund the police. They already said that they're going to come after our weapons. They already said that we're going to have more of the same elections. They already said this. And we all know they cheated because that's what Democrats do. They cheat. You cannot tell me that President Trump lost the election and we had all these Republican senators and congressmen that won and he lost. It's impossible. So now they're going to forcibly vaccinate our children, and you have no recourse. Mr. Schilling lost his insurance for speaking out and standing up for President Trump. The PGA has announced for 2021 and 2022 that they will no longer use President Trump's golf courses. They have canceled contracts with President Trump. Deutsche Bank also pulled their business dealings with President Trump. Cancel culture. President Trump has been a big supporter of the PGA and also one of the financing backers of the PGA. I wonder where they're going to get their backing from now. And I wonder whether or not Tiger Woods, who is one of President Trump's closest friends and ally that he gave the Medal of Freedom to, I wonder whether or not Tiger Woods is going to play. Probably not, which is going to hurt the PGA. See, they don't understand something. They run around canceling things. What's going to happen next is we're going to end up canceling them. We're going to stop flying on their airlines. We're going to stop taking their buses and getting on their trains. We're going to stop buying their products. We already showed Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube that we mean business. I think YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter combined lost over $200 billion since they decided to silence President Trump. Over $200 billion between these companies of Amazon, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. They lost billions of dollars. How do you hurt a billionaire besides President Trump? Because he'll bounce back. He always does. He's an underdog. He always bounces back. But sometimes, like my grandmother would say, you got to find a fool and bump his head. And right now, we are bumping their heads. We are. They want us to come together in unity, and this is not how you get unity. Taking a man's insurance away from him, his health insurance, I would sue. They have no grounds and no basis to take away this man's insurance. Oh, only because he supports President Trump. And they took away his medical. If they can do that to Mr. Schilling, what do you think they're going to do to us as Americans? What do you think they're going to do to us? Come on, y'all. Come on. We're in trouble. We are in trouble. And somebody asked me, Peggy, with everything that's happening, are you going to run for U.S. Senate against Tammy Duckworth? And my thing is this, and I thought about this long and hard and deep. I saw what they did to the president. I saw up close and personal how they cheat in elections because I was an election judge right here in Illinois. And I busted the Democrats cheating in 2016, in 2017, 2000. I caught them cheating at the polls. I know what they're capable of. I know for a fact they cheat because I busted them personally. So I know. My life was threatened because of it. My Harley was tampered with because of it. So I know what they're capable of in Illinois. I know. But my thing is this. How do you fight people that you know have no conscience and will do anything and everything to get what they want? How do you fight that? How do you do it? Going into this election against Tammy Duckworth, I know that the odds are against me because of the Democratic Party. I know this. But if I don't stand up and make a stand, and she may very well beat me, she may very well. But I'm not going to go out without a fight. I'm not going to go out without getting at least a couple of punches in. I'm not. I'm going to make it damn hard for her. Every time she hears the name Peggy Hubbard, she's going to break out in a sweat. I'm not going to make it easy for Tammy Duckworth. I'm not going to make it easy for any candidate. Because when I run, I'm going to bring the rain. And hopefully I'm going to have Mr. Trump behind me, pushing me every step of the way. I'm going to have the citizens of the state of Illinois behind me, pushing me every step of the way. There are a lot of good people in Chicago that are tired of this mess. There are a lot of good people in southern and central Illinois that are tired of this mess. And I'm going to give it one hell of a fight. I'm going to fight like hell for the state of Illinois. I'm going to fight like they have never seen before. I'm going to fight. Like I said, I may not win, but every time you mention the name Peggy Hubbard, y'all going to say, damn, that woman is scrappy. She is a fighter. She is relentless. She takes no prisoners. She holds nothing back. And trust me, I am not going to hold anything back. I am not giving up on this country. I am not giving up on the American people. They need real people in Washington. They need somebody that's going to stand up and push back and call them out on their BS. That's going to be me. This is going to be my fight. And I'm not going to go out. And I'm not going to whimper and saunter away. And I'm not going to go away. But I'm going to need all of you behind me. If you want a voice in Washington to stand up with Josh Hawley and Ted Cruz and Jim Jordan, they need a feisty, curly hair black chick right by their side, waiting for them to say something stupid so I can rub their noses in it. Because guess what? I'm an American first. My color has nothing to do with it. I'm an American. I wore that uniform proudly in the United States Navy. I wore that uniform proudly as a police officer for the state of Illinois. In the state of Illinois. And that's what we need. We need real people and real fighters in our capital. And that's going to be me. I'm ready for the fight. I'm scared, I'm angry, and I'm hurt that we fought for this president only to be cheated and lied to. That stops. I'm not going to let them cancel our country and our cultures. And it's time for you guys to grow a set, stand up with me, and push back. It's time. The Democratic Party has gotten away with too much. I am not ready to give up on this country. I am not ready. Neither should you. I'm Peggy Hubbard. Guys, thank you for listening tonight. I'm sorry if I was a little long-winded, but I love you guys. And share this video. I should be back on Facebook tomorrow. They banned me on Facebook for 3 days for something I said and something I posted, which they said was very salacious. And it was. That's the way I roll, baby. That's the way I roll. Hey, that's just me. But I love you guys. I love you very much. Cheryl, I love you. Jeannie, I love you too. Jessica, I see you. Cheryl, Jasper, I love you guys. Happy New Year. Share this video. And I will be back on Facebook tomorrow. So my Facebook jail ends tomorrow. I love you guys. Take care. God bless.